Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist. Spitting fire on the mic.
All right.
What'd you say? You fucking said marigold. That's awesome. Marigold.
All right. Well, this is it, man. We're doing
This is it.
Comedy Simp podcast.
Comedy Simp.
Well, you know what the kids say, like and subscribe. But yeah, man, we're just talking about Alex Suarez.
Alex Suarez. Before we get to Alex though, what gas station did you get those sunglasses at?
These are probably from Target. I think
Target?
these are Target.
They don't sell Lokes at Target. Get the fuck out of here.
Wait.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, these are.
Those are for sure.
I thought these were the orange ones. These are definitely from. These are.
Fucking
These
way,
make me
dude.
feel so Mexican.
Those are
Like,
from Chevron outside of Sacramento,
they are,
for sure.
They're definitely from
For
I think they're from Chevron, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I really love gas stations and truck stops.
So much fun.
You know, I always like searching for treasures. You know, like I'm not really a thrift store guy. Sometimes I go. I don't like them too much, but I like going to a rant. What? Why not?
No.
Oh yeah. Some people like them. You know. The thing is, reselling has fucked everything up. Like, it's so hard to find anything cool because anytime somebody finds something cool, they buy it and they resell it on the internet for more money. You know,
You have to like make it cool.
Yeah.
You can't just buy it like for a decent price anymore. But Lokes, dude.
are cool, you know?
Lokes, I remember looking at those all day long at every gas station in California.
Yeah,
Those are all over the place.
I remember when I went to Disneyland in 2005 with my family.
Okay.
I bought these. I think they were like generic, like Dolce & Gabbana, like sunglasses, totally women's sunglasses. But I was a dumb 21-year-old kid, so I just wore them all day, just rapping to my mini DV camera. Probably one of the most embarrassing home videos you can imagine. That's like when I first started smoking weed. I was like, oh, I'm high at Disneyland. I'm so cool, you know.
Remember how embarrassing it was to like film yourself doing stuff? Now it's just so common that like no one even questions it.
I think it's weird if I don't really see people very often kind of doing like talking to the camera.
Right.
But we see it all the time on TikTok and all that. And so I would imagine seeing it in the wild, it wouldn't be.
Check out this fucking segue. Yeah. That's how my buddy Alex Suarez got to open for Bert Kreischer coming up in Vancouver recently.
So before we talk about that, how do you know Alex? How did you know this guy? Because Alex is a comedian.
Yeah.
He's from Canada.
He's from Canada.
Abbotsford.
Abbotsford, yeah.
He's been here at the Whiskey Mile.
He's done one of my shows, the Vagabond Comedy Show, when we were doing it.
I met him up in Mount Vernon. He came to that show. And
that's where I met him. Mm-hmm. I met him in Vernon over at that one bar that looks like it's going to fall over, but it's actually like a super...
Cats.
Yeah, Cats.
Yeah.
But it's like a super sick comedy spot, and they have like weird like shit all over the walls. Like I think there's a mannequin in there with lingerie. Yeah. It's a fucking weird spot.
There's a bicycle with like a skeleton.
But they're super... about comedy. Like they're definitely like comedy fans. It's not like a bar that has comedy. They have the stage. Like it's a comedy spot for that night. And I think it was like, because I hadn't done comedy for like a year, and then I moved up here. I did.
What year was this?
Fuck, dude. I don't know. Was
this after the pandemic?
This was 2 years after the pandemic had started.
Okay, so 2022.
Yeah. So this was the year before I moved up here. I had taken a year off because my epilepsy was getting really bad.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I could either, go for gold and say, I'm not quitting, I'm just going to go and then I might die. Or I could quit doing everything, including comedy, and maybe get better and see comedy again one day.
Yeah.
And so that seemed like the decision I wanted to make. I also kind of was like, let's just fucking go down with the ship and make it. Let me just fucking make it happen. But I was like, I'm not good enough to be famous because I died. So we have to like sit on it a little bit. And so I did one show before I left in Long Beach with my buddy John Lou. The LBC. And then I did a show.
Oh, John. He came
John
up here
Liu.
one. Yeah, I didn't get
John
to meet
Liu.
him, but he's come up here.
Yeah, great guy. Love
Yeah.
him to death. Love you, John. Miss you. And he does a show.
He does a lot of shows.
Yeah,
in
he does
LA.
a lot
He's
of shows.
always
But he
doing
produces
Yeah.
a show out in Orange County. You should check. I think it's at Nellie's or something. I'm sorry, John. I'm so sorry. I was on that show and I don't even remember.
There's so many places.
Yeah. So I did a show with him. Came up here. I think I did a spot. I did a feature spot at Shanghai, and then I was kind of off at the races. And I think Noah Rubin was helping me out a lot, and he sent me up to Cats.
So you came up here in 2022. Is that what you're saying? It's like when you moved up here.
What year is it now? It's 2025.
It's 25. It just
so
turned.
I moved here in 23, I guess. November 23.
Okay. So I was doing comedy almost a year. So yeah, it makes sense why I didn't see you then. You know.
Yeah, I wasn't up here yet.
Yeah.
I just got up here a year ago.
Because you go a lot of places. You know, you're doing a lot of stuff all over. You know?
I mean, right now, yeah. bouncing around, doing stuff
Your
here,
voice
doing
got
stuff
very
there.
high there.
What?
Your voice got very high there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky to. I got a hold of. I actually, when I started comedy in Long Beach in Signal Hill, the guy who put it on, Eddie Diaz, shout out for the cheap ass mic in Signal Hill with all the boys, dude. All the fucking boys, dude.
Boys are back.
Everyone was there. That was a fun time. But I met a guy named Jon Moskowitz who had moved.
You just did a tour with him.
Yeah. So I did a tour with him. I met him in Long Beach. He moved from Brooklyn to Pasadena to be able to do mics and not be cold.
Yeah.
Because that's all we had was park stuff. And so we hung out for a little bit. He ended up moving back to New York after everything kind of lifted. And then we kind of stayed in touch. I went out to New York riding on my wife's coattails. She would go to work, and I'd be like, "Can I come too?" And then she would like get me a ticket because she's like, "Well, work's paying for mine, so I'll buy yours." And then I would hit him up, and we did a couple of mics here and there. And so for the first time, a couple weeks ago, before that, he hit me up and he goes, "Hey, do you have a PA system in a car?" And I was like, "Yes." And he goes, "I have a booker who needs someone to do shows over in that area. I said, I know you. Can you do it?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude." And so I got a hold of the guy. He's like, "Do you have a half hour?" And I was like, "Yeah." "No." He's like, and he's like, "Okay, grab some people." I got some people, and he sent me. And so I did, I think 3 or 4 of those. And then the last one I did, Jon Moskowitz came out, and we actually got to do a tour together. And that was the first time we've ever been on a show together.
Yeah.
We did mics in the park. And so to go from doing mics, even in the park or in New York, a mic setting is very different. So to go from a mic setting for so many years and then to watch each other do comedy, it was a really special thing. And I was really happy that I got to do that. He's such a technical comedian, like most of the East Coast comedians are. And not only that, I've talked to him through the years, and this time that I got to hang out with him, the thing that I admired most about him was how quickly he found what was funny about anything. It's something that I think it's overlooked, especially in my.
So he's observational. He looks at anything.
Not even necessarily about his comedy, just like person to person. He's just like, "This is so goddamn funny," and you're like, "I believe you.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That is hilarious."
I've never seen this guy. I've never heard him. I don't know how funny he is, but I just imagine he has a cool voice. Yeah.
You know what? He kind of gives me like a over-the-top California voice.
Really?
But he's a little scrawny Jewish guy from Brooklyn.
Yeah. Brooklyn.
But he's I remember he would talk about the one joke that I was telling him about that I remember him telling in Signal Hill in Long Beach was like he had this buddy named Crackhead Joe who would show up on this hill that everyone would smoke weed at, and he would like pull out like the skinniest joint and be like, "Want a match?" But like he said it like that. He didn't say it like New York.
Want a match?
Yeah. So he's a really cool dude, and it was really fun just hanging out with a buddy and doing comedy and like kind of going over everything and talking about, we had like I think a collective. Let's see, it was 8 hours to get to Montana, 4 hours to get to Walla Walla, 4 more to get to Portland, and then 2 to get back home. So that over 10 hours, over 12 hours, over fucking a lot of hours drive time.
Yeah.
So we talked the entire time.
Yeah, you get to know somebody on a long
we
drive.
talked a lot about food.
I haven't done a lot of long drives with comics. The only person, Nick Cody. Me and Nick Cody drove from Seattle to Eugene, so it's about 5 hours and stuff like that. And so, shout out to Nick.
Nick Cody.
Down Eugene seems to it's starting to warm up a little bit to the comedy. They have a new comedy club there. It's called Olson's Run. And a lot of people that come up here, now they're stopping in Eugene, you know?
Okay.
Or like if they're going to go to Portland, they go to Eugene because people in Eugene don't want to drive 2 hours to Portland, you know?
That makes sense.
Back when I lived there in 2004, like I got tickets to a concert in Portland, but nobody wanted to go, so I just fucking lost money on it, you know? It's so sad.
What was the concert?
Pennywise, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like you're just going for Brohim. You're just going for Brohim.
Well, you know, fuck authority now, too.
All right. You're core. I'll give it to you.
I love that.
That's fucking awesome.
But, so... Coming back to Alex now, how did you met Alex through Cats?
Totally forgot Alex. Forgot Alex.
This is like the Donald
You're so
Trump.
Good at this.
This is the weave, you know. We do the weave here.
You're so good at it. I completely forgot Alex. Shout out Alex.
So you met him through Cats, right? So he just comes down to Mount Vernon just to watch shows, I guess, huh?
No, he went to do. I think it was a show / open mic.
Okay.
So the show was first, and then it was an open mic.
Okay, yeah, I think they were doing an open mic after the show. Okay.
And so I did my set. I kind of sucked. I didn't do bad. I just didn't do. The guy who went before me had a super fast pace, and I was like, "This is what the crowd wants."
Yeah.
But my style doesn't work with that, and I got through my stuff, and it was like okay, but it just wasn't what I wanted. And then, he was just really cool. We exchanged information. I don't even know if I stuck around for his set. I might have took off.
Well, he's very funny.
Yeah, fucking hilarious.
He's very funny, and he's very in the moment, you know? Totally in the moment. Like, we're just here, just talking, like, pointing people out.
Yeah.
I want to do that kind of stuff, but it's like... I don't know, you know, it's just when I don't know somebody very well, it feels weird, you know.
Well, it takes practice.
Yeah.
It takes practice.
You know.
Like anything. And I mean, it
takes practice to talk shit, you know.
Yeah, it takes practice to talk a little trash and live in the moment and just kind of hang out. Like, I mean, most of it's just observations. Like, you don't necessarily have to. I think that the problem I run into when I'm trying to, like, talk to someone is I go too over the top.
Yeah.
And so, like, I try to almost go like under, like a thing that I've been using like a lot that I've really been liking is I'll look at someone and be like, you look like a visual learner. Because like you can make whatever you want to of that, and it kind of just like
you're right.
It's
I
like,
am. I actually
am. And you're like, oh, maybe I am.
I think I probably told somebody that today. Actually, I said, don't call me.
Yeah.
Send me an email. Send me a message.
Yeah,
I need it in writing because I'm not going to remember.
Yeah, I almost like try to go in a bad direction.
Yeah,
like because like what are you going to do? Like what's visual? Like that's not one way or the other way, and you can't really look at someone and say you look like a visual learner. Yeah. So it kind of like. It's been working, and it's been like I've been having fun with it. Yeah. And then like I'll just look at people like you look like you abuse a semicolon, like just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's you got to kind of find the style that you want to observe at. Yeah. I think I don't fucking know. I'm just a bartender. I don't know anything, but yeah.
You look like you use athletic tampons.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know if you're allowed to say that to women or not. But.
You look like you use a coupon to buy your tampons. There you go. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if that's legal anymore.
Reason I brought up Alex, you're doing a podcast with him now.
Yeah.
You know, he's your buddy.
Yeah.
You've been up to Canada.
So anyway,
he has a comedy club.
The whole thing is he ended up hitting me up to hang out. He came down to the States, and I took him to like 3 different spots.
Yeah.
And it was
Seattle?
A lot of fun. So we did Femi's open mic when it was going on in the U District. We did the Couth Buzzard.
The pizza one.
Yeah. Supreme.
I had a great joke about that. First of all, did you ever meet El Maj?
I don't know.
Well, I remember when they were advertising that, it was like Femi and El Maj, and it was like support black business. And I had a joke about black pizza. And then I found out that's not even a black-owned business. It was just Femi running a mic at the place. You know?
That's funny.
So
yeah, no, I don't think I met him. I kind of came in on the tail end because it kind of shut down not too long after. It was a crap mic, but it was somewhere to get up.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of like, so what I did was I hit the Couth buzzard, which I would tell them like I had like stuff going on, so I had to go. So they put me up front.
Yeah.
And it was a great crowd. It's over right next to Shanghai, and they will laugh.
Yeah.
It's mostly musicians, but they're really solid audience members. And so I'll go from there, Couth Buzzard in Green Lake, and then I'll go I went over to Femi's, Supreme in the U District, and then from there I dipped down to Flight Path.
Okay, so yeah, we're a Wednesday.
So the Neapolitan day.
Yeah.
Hit all three. And so then after that, I think he had me on one of his shows, and then I had him on one of my shows, and then he opened up a comedy club, and I just did a whole weekend there.
Yeah, what's that club called?
Last Laffs.
Last
Laffs. Yeah, look,
LAFFS, right?
That is correct. Yeah,
in Abbotsford.
Absolutely fantastic spot.
I was talking to him, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I really want to go up there, but I know my wife she'd be like." I don't want you out of the country right now, especially with everything that's going on. So I was like, what we could do is I'll plan a weekend. I'll go with the wife and the kid, and we'll hang out in Vancouver or whatever, do some sightseeing, and then at night I can just do whatever, do some clubs.
There you go.
And he's like, me, you, and Jordan, we should do that. I was like, all right. I don't know who's gonna run the mic, but we'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, we could always go like a day. It's a 2-hour drive. I will drive both ways.
Yeah.
That's what I did a couple nights ago. Like he just hit me up and he had a spot. He's like, "Hey, dude, someone called out. You want a spot?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And so I drove 2 hours up, drove 2 hours back.
So what's the club like and the audience? I think you were telling me
audience is great.
It started off a little rough and then it got better or something like that? You said like there was no open mics in Canada, I believe is what you're telling me.
Yeah, so there are open mics. I guess Alex was telling me that the Vancouver scene is a little different because they kind of start doing shows before they start doing mics. So the economics of everything is a little different. But in Abbotsford's is like an hour and a half out from Vancouver in the east.
I'm sure it's really close to me.
Yeah, it's pretty. You're close. I mean, you're in Everett, right?
Close to Everett. Yeah, really close to Everett.
So I think you're probably like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now that he's doing that one, there are open mics kind of popping up in the area. Mm. So like the fact that he's doing something that's contributing to the scene, like I'm genuinely so fucking proud of that guy. And he's like opening for Kreischer. Like he's really like a made man in my eyes,
so
and
the
I'm really happy about that.
Alex every day posts a new joke. He's writing new jokes, posting videos and he tags it, posting a new joke until he gets to open for the Machine, Bert Kreischer. And then he got the news.
Yeah. Got the news today. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be like announcing this. I feel a little bad. Don't be mad at me, Alex.
I'll ask him and then I will bleep his name out. But everybody will know.
Right.
So what I'll do is I'll paste a picture of a shirtless comedian, but I'll blur his face out.
Nice.
And I'll say,
nice.
Alex is going to open up for this guy when he's in Canada. So Vancouver.
So super proud of him. We were going to start a podcast today, but he just got the news, so it's like an absolute shit show.
It's awesome.
And I guess his wife spent a lot of money, so he didn't have a lot of money. Shout out Gabby, spend it like a fucking champ.
Yeah. I wish I had money to spend.
I just burped in my microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, crowd. I hang out with him, his wife, and his kids. They're super cool. He's super cool.
And then you guys are doing a podcast. You guys did one already. It was pretty entertaining, actually.
Yeah, that's his podcast. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Just kicking back. And
when you get to just hang out with people you know, it's a little bit easier. Like sometimes, like with certain people, like you kind of feel like they're going the entire time, and you're like, I don't know when to jump in.
Yeah.
And like there's like you and Alex and like people that I know. It's easier to like kind of just.
Yeah.
I don't want to say vibe. I hate that fucking word now, but it's easy to kind of like pick each other up.
There's certain words today that I just do not like. I think I'm getting old, man.
What's that one that they're using on social demure?
Demure,
Fuck that,
yeah,
dude.
somebody said that last night. And then...
that's so dumb.
Yeah, Riz, that's another one. I don't like Riz.
I don't like Riz.
No cap, all that good stuff.
Yeah, no cap. Those are like, I don't know. Like, what did we use?
Well... When I was a little kid, I used to get all my words from the Ninja Turtles. So I'd say awesome, radical,
right.
And then in the 2000s, it got like really like very urban. It got really urban in the 2000s.
We definitely,
You know, On Fleek was one. On Fleek is...
I thought On Fleek was like a later one.
Maybe it was a little bit later.
I mean, we did like dorky stuff like No Way Jose.
Hootie Hoo.
Hootie Hoo.
Yeah.
I remember the Hootie Hoos.
Hootie Hoo, you know, good stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't remember all of them, but yeah, they're pretty dorky. But like, I don't know.
Nobody's gonna remember anything.
No one's gonna remember this
5
bullshit.
years anyways. Everything's gonna be AI.
Just speak proper English.
You know, we're gonna have AI.
Use a semicolon.
It's I don't know, man. It's racist to just use English. I think we need to use all the languages at once, like that guy from Blade Runner that you can't even understand what he says.
That sounds like Peter trying to tell you he can do the alphabet really fast. He goes from Family Guy.
Oh yeah.
That episode. But yeah, I think that was.
When you said Peter, I immediately thought Peter Artman.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, you've seen him before. He's out in Tacoma, Flight Path sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to the Bullies Show this last Monday, and they had me on this. So they do games. I've kind of talked about it a little bit, but it's kind of like their concept is it's kind of like a Kill Tony mixed with like a Japanese game show. So they're kind of doing these like games where people are like, you know, getting hurt a little bit, you know, that kind of stuff. And then also just like things that are supposed to be kind of embarrassing or like some roasting involved. For example, on like one of the last ones, they had 3 guys eat really spicy hot wings. Then they had to go on stage and tell jokes. And Brendan Meeks was like, he ate 1 wing and he was like, I'm dying. You know, it's like, he said, this is horrible.
I saw him at, I think he featured at the Shanghai.
Oh, yeah.
The other night. And that guy is so adorable.
Yeah.
I love him so much. I don't know him. I've just seen him do stop comedy, but I'm like, I want to love you. I want to like. I will.
I instantly. Like,
I want him to spoon me.
Yeah.
You know, like
he's very
looks,
cuddly. Like
he just seems like
that,
such a great
wiry
guy.
Beard. He's a little chubby.
Portly. He's not chubby.
Yeah.
He's portly.
I've seen him a lot recently.
That's the nice way of saying
like,
chubby.
First in October, he was on that contest down there, and like, yeah, he was just so funny because he has these jokes where
he's goddamn
it takes
funny.
you a minute to like, or it takes regular people a minute to realize what he said, and then the laughs start coming in. You know, and that's something that, like, I was impressed with by day one. And he's just a really nice guy. You know, he's just a nice guy.
Right.
He instantly recognizes you. And I just don't know where he came. That's why I'm looking forward to having him here and hanging out with him a little bit because I feel like he came out of nowhere. But I guess it's just the whole Tacoma thing. Like, first year of comedy, I pretty much stuck in Seattle. And then last year started going down there. And then,
Well, the mics are kind of going up here. Like I feel like we have less and less, and there's not more popping up. So I think I'm gonna have to start going to Tacoma and Portland and stuff like that. Yeah, and that kind of makes sense because I think that there's a lot of mics going on in the city that are more for affirmation and stuff like that than they are for comedy.
Well, there's a fine line between hanging out with your friends and actually finding somebody funny. And there's a lot of people there's a lot of people that do comedy that are really nice people. It's just their style of humor just doesn't do it for me, you know?
Sure.
And there's a lot of a certain style of humor that just, you know, it's I always tell people like the difference between Seattle and Tacoma but it really is. It feels like night and day. Like you go to Seattle and you say the word Hispanic on stage at like Comedy Bar and you hear people go like, what's he gonna say? You go down to Tacoma and they're like N-word. You know, it's just like, whoa. You know, I mean, not me. I haven't got that pass yet, but they had an autistic white guy say it on stage on Monday, and
how'd he do?
They killed. It was like the whole place exploded.
Fuck, that's awesome. Yeah, so I was just gonna say though, it's a fun show. It's like they film it every week on like 4K cameras, and they're putting it on YouTube, making clips. So good for them.
And
doing something different.
Anybody that wants to go down there and just check it out, I mean, they do bucket spots in between the games. So, give some people a chance to go up
Cool.
there. Unfortunately, our buddy Brian Fukuda, he got a little roasted because you got to be quick with those guys. I mean, you got a half black guy, you got an Asian guy, and you got a white guy who's got a lot of attitude. And all three of them are on stage. And if you're Brian Fukuda telling a joke, you got to get to it quick, or else they're going to be like, But it's fun. It's a pretty crazy, chaotic experience, and kind of.
Brian Fukuda is very methodical. He's very he's got a good rhythm, and he has a very good command of that rhythm. And if I don't know that if his rhythm was affected, he would be as effective without that. So I could definitely see him. I mean, obviously he has the material to do great at roasting. Holy shit, some of the stuff that he says, it's like, because he's very much a topical comedian, which I very much admire, because I don't really know a lot of them, and he does a very good job doing it. But like I think that if he had to be quick, I think that might, because I think his rhythm, aside from his content, is just as much of his bread and butter.
Yeah, I was with. I mean, we rode down to Auburn last night together, and it's cool hanging out with him. He's just such a.
He's a good dude.
He's a good guy, and he's an interesting guy because he doesn't really. Like somebody like me, I feel like I give you kind of too much. Like, hey, I'm gonna tell you this and this and that, and like, I identify with Bert Kreischer in that way. Like, I like to tell people how I feel. Whereas, like, Brian is kind of a mystery, unless you kind of start talking to him a little bit, get him to open up. Then you start to find out a little bit more about him. But he loves comedy, and he's always like somebody that's been doing comedy less time than him. He's asking me what I think about this and what if I do that. And he's talking about wanting to, like, hey, if you ever need somebody to host the mic at Sam's, I could do that. If he's talking about wanting to like book shows. So
yeah, Brian was here even before we were Sam's mic.
Yeah, so
yeah, he was around for almost as long as I was.
It's almost in about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, it'll be a year since the first time I came here. Wow. So what do you remember about that whole time period, the first few months before this? Like maybe like a year, like when you first started coming here, what was it like? Before the comedy was a regular thing.
So empty.
It was dark. Did you meet Sam right away?
Yeah. So I came in and I was like, hey, Jordan, I just moved up here. You guys got a mic or something? He's like, yeah, we got a mic. And I just kind of do whatever you want.
Was it like a music mic or?
It was a comedy mic. He was very particular to a comedy mic. He very much wanted to do. He very much liked comedians. He told me, and I think it might have been me and him and one other person the first time I came here. And I think that night or like later that week, he hit me up and he was like, hey dude, like I got this thing to do on Thursday. Could you host the mic? And I was like, sure. And he was like, only thing is, if no one shows up, you still have to do it. And I was like, but that won't happen? He's like, it probably won't happen. It fucking happened, dude. That was the longest. I had to do a half hour. I sat on stage for a half hour talking to fucking Charlie and Jeff.
Nice.
Our sound guy. Charlie the bartender and Jeff the sound guy. Half hour. And I was like, this is awful. I hate this. And I kept on like trying to get like random bar patrons like, hey, can you like just stand up here for a little bit and give me like a breather or something? They'd be like, no. And like that just wasn't happening. And so yeah, that was like my baptism of this place. And then I was coming here every week ever since. So.
And then I believe the first time I remember seeing this place is kind of like December of 2023. There was a show here, I think, with like Jason McBride and.
Was that my show?
I think maybe it was your. Maybe you had a show here.
So the Vagabond Comedy Show was independent from the mic. It wasn't a thing that we kind of did where we were like
show.
Picking
wasn't
people
Sam's
up.
show, and the first show here was your show.
I asked Sam if I could do it here, and he said, yeah. It wasn't like one of those things where I was like, hey Sam, we should collaborate and do this, because I think that we kind of talked about starting other mics in the area, and I think that we were kind of looking at a bigger picture. So I was like, hey, I'll do this show.
Yeah.
And along with all the other stuff that we're doing. And it was kind of like that. It wasn't like a shared thing. Not to say that he couldn't do it, but it was just kind of like, hey, I'll fucking do it. And then I think the first show I had, Blake, what's his name?
Kiltoff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Blake Kiltoff. I had Noah Rubin. I had Femi. I had a wild card. Who's that kid who hosts 4Bs sometime?
J Marks?
Maybe. Little short kind of guy.
Oh, Leo? Miller?
Leo Miller.
What happened to him,
Leo
man?
Miller.
Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. He didn't have a lot of time.
The short king.
Yeah. So
Eugene.
I gave him. I kind of made a slot for like my wild card because I would just have like the least experienced guy do like 10 minutes, and it was nice because I'd be like, it's their first show, and usually later I'd find out that they usually brought the most people because it was their first show.
Yeah.
And so that was great. And then I think I did Blake, Noah, and then Femi, and then I headlined because like everyone was there to see me, which don't do that, but it was my first show, so whatever. My cousin came out. The only reason I did the show is because my cousin came out, and she's like, hey, I want to see you do comedy. I was like, all right, I'll put a show together.
Yeah.
And then she came out. I think I sold something like 60 tickets. It was a pretty good sized show in here. Probably 60.
Wow.
And I absolutely crushed. I haven't done that good since, and I hadn't done that good
Did you
up
record
until.
it either?
I did, but my GoPro fucked it up.
Oh,
Yeah. So it didn't record all of it.
I have a GoPro. I don't even know if it works anymore.
I hate those fucking
well,
things.
I was using it for...
I do not want to get sponsored by GoPro.
Yeah,
if you guys want to send me one, okay. But I don't like them.
Yeah, I think like it just shocked a battery or something in my camera, and so I don't know if the camera's bad or the battery, but I'm not willing to buy another battery.
Well, it also does something with the amount of memory, because I think I did like 25 minutes, something like that. And so it cuts out at a certain time, and then it redoes it, but then also the battery might die, and there's a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, like I absolutely crushed. And I don't say that I did that a lot.
Yeah.
And so like my cousin came up, she's like, oh my God, you did so good. Shout out Bailey. Happy that you're getting married soon. Anyway, but she came up and she was like, that was so cool. I'm so happy I got to see that. And I'm like, don't tell anyone that, because I've never done that good before, and I'm not going to. Like, do not believe that's ever going to happen again. So, yeah, it was a really fun night. It was a really good time, and that was my first show that I produced pretty much by myself. Sam helped out and did the door and stuff, and it was a great time, great experience. And that's when I think I did like 3 more. Yeah. And then I was going to start doing it at Lucky Strike in Bellevue. And that's when Jon Moskowitz hit me up about the booker. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this because I secretly kind of hate doing shows. They give me heart stuff.
Well, I think booking your own show is like so stressful. Like and the one that I did here, it turned out pretty good, but like...
That was a fun show.
It was fun, yeah, it was fun.
I still can't find my fingerless gloves. I don't know where the fuck they went, but that was a fun time.
Somebody walked off with them that day.
Someone stole my... I need my fingerless gloves back, guys.
Keon? We're looking at you.
Keon. Oh, it was fucking Keon. That little bitch. Come at me, homie.
Yeah.
No, he did. I was sitting in Shanghai the other night, and he was like, I can't believe Jordan Macias makes me so angry. And I was like, did you write that down? He's like, I did. I was like, I'm so happy right now. He's one of those guys where I just super like bothering him. He's like one of my favorite people to bother, like in the world. Like, absolutely.
I go through these weird phases with people where I feel like sometimes he doesn't like me, and then sometimes he's liking everything that I post, and I'm like, okay, I mean, cool. I guess we're cool. But never been not cool, but it's just, comedy's weird, especially it's like we're all friends, but we're all kind of in a competition as well.
Yeah, Keon's a great guy, and he doesn't, if you ever feel like he might be a little bit negative towards you, don't pay any attention to it, because he loves you anyway. He's just, he's fine. He's fine. I think I had him on one of my shows too, and he did obviously great. Everyone loves him because he looks like the fucking black Mr. Clean, dude. He's fucking sexy. It's fucking funny, and he looks really tall when he's on stage.
Very tall. He's like Jordan, or he's like Shaq.
He's so Shaq. Yeah, he's absolutely Shaq. No, he's so funny. And he's so fucking consistent, too. Like, every time he gets on stage, he does the same goddamn thing, and he crushes every time.
Well, man, it's, like, about a year ago, and that's when I met Sam. We all know Sam was only around for a few more months. What do you like? Do you remember anything? Any funny stories about Sam that come to mind? Because I know you guys would hang out a little bit. You do like the dress up night and stuff like that. And
so one night this was kind of closer towards the end because he was kind of getting a little bad with drinking and whatever else was going on.
Partying a little hard.
And we had Allison Fine as our feature. Shout out Allison. And she had messaged Sam saying that she was being late. I think she did a set either at Laffs or Club Comedy, but she let him know. And so then he's like, "Oh, we're not having her on." And he was like upset, and I was like, "What'd she do? Like, what I missed?" Because like, I don't know. And then she came in and she's like, "I told him, and he was like kind of belligerent, and like me and Jeff were both kind of like, okay, like, and I told Jeff, I was like, I'm gonna put our feature on, and so like,
I was here. Okay,
that was that night, okay, and so so you're here.
That
and
was
so,
a weird night.
Yeah. So then what happened was he was getting off and he was kind of smiling. So then I went, "Hey guys, sorry, Sam's a little drunky poo, ha ha ha. We're gonna throw up our feature. You guys ready for your feature? All right, here comes Allison Fine, boom." And I got her up on stage, and then I went over to Sam, and he was like kind of sulking. He was at that table, that center long, and he was like kind of sulking, and I was like, "What's up, bud?" And he was like, "I feel like you threw me under the bus." And I was like, I did. I did. To laugh about it. I didn't do it to hurt your feelings. But we needed Allison Fine on stage. He's like, "Well, she was scheduled." And I'm like, "No, she showed me the text message. She said she was going to be late." And honestly, if anyone is going to prioritize a dive bar in a strip mall over an actual comedy club, they're fucking nuts, and you shouldn't be talking to them, Sam. That's ridiculous. And he was like, "Okay." And then that was kind of it. But it was fun to watch him be like so full of like anger and like ready, and then just kind of be like, okay. But I mean, I still remember like my favorite thing that we did together was we dressed all fancy. We were going to go to a cigar lounge, and there wasn't a cigar lounge that we could find. And so I actually brought a cigar to smoke outside for the show tonight, or the mic tonight, because I like thinking about Sam and smoking cigars. But that was a fun night because we just had a good time. We were hanging out outside. And, like, there's this dude who came up to me because I was in a full suit. Like, I was in, like, a three-piece. And he's like, he came over, he's like, "So what are you guys doing all dressed up and da-da-da-da?" And I was like, "Fuck you, dude. Like, whatever. You all pissed off because I'm sexy. Whatever." But it was a fun night. We had a good time. And it was just one of those things where, like, we were supposed to be at some fancy, like, rinky-dink, like, cigar lounge. But instead, we were outside of a strip mall, bar, smoking cigars, and it's just as fun when you have the right company. So I'll always miss that, and I'll always remember that about Sam, that it didn't matter where we were, it was just that we were hanging out.
Yeah, man, we when I met it, I just instantly, like, me and him were like, "Hey, I like this guy, and then and then people were like, "Do you know about his ex?" and blah blah. I'm like, "No, I don't know." And then, like, literally, that was kind of the first situation I was put in where it was like, "Are you going to take this side or this side?" And it was like, I tried to understand, because, like, I don't want to be friends with somebody who's not a good guy, obviously. And I made my own, drew my own conclusions. I was like, he's a good guy. Like, maybe he did some bad stuff, but ultimately he's a good guy. We had a lot of plans to, like, karaoke, and he talked about wanting to do the mics and stuff like that. But yeah, man, yeah, he was a good guy. He's a good guy. And,
he talked to me about bringing you on for the next mic, because we wanted to open up, like, as many mics as we could in the area. But
and we're still trying to get this one going. But
this one's going great, man. We have 10 to 15 people a week. It's a lot of fun. I think that I'm actually getting better at hosting, because I suck at hosting. Don't believe anything that anyone says. I'm a dog shit host, but I'm actually trying now. And, like, before it was just like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my material, and then it's your guys's. But now it's like I'm kind of taking the responsibility of being the host and trying to keep everyone engaged and trying to keep everything going.
Look at that.
And we're doing our absolute best. And it's the very sexy Noah Rubin.
Yeah.
Ciao! Put him between some sandwiches and feed him to me.
I got another mic if you want to sit down.
I mean, I thought I was the guest.
Oh,
You
well.
are the guest. Am I too late? No.
No, you could jump on.
Not at all.
I was gonna save time for just me and you to have a long.
Oh, do you want to just hop on?
No.
I could jump out.
I have three. I
could jump out.
I have a third mic ready. He could sit right here.
I can do or not do anything.
He could sit right here. But yeah, man.
Leave it on. Huh? Leave it.
No, I'm leaving my work stuff on. That's how I lose my job.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't even think about that.
It could be like a reason to become a full-time comedian.
Right.
Yeah.
Push you in the
You
right
want to sit
direction.
here or the big? You want me to pull this?
Whatever you want me to do.
Here.
Do I grab this?
Yeah, go ahead, grab that. Let me.
Do I need the headphones on?
No headphones. All right, we are. Let me just go ahead and say something. No.
Hi, this is me, and I'm here, and
Yeah,
I'm
there we
sitting
are.
down on a there.
Nice. Look at this. It's a
right.
three-piece. First time on the show. You
Yeah.
know,
Good to see you.
speaking of open mics, we got the open mic, emperor over
The
here.
Empire.
Yeah. The man who started it all.
Sorry, what did I didn't start anything.
Well,
The Shanghai. Yeah, you
I
did.
did, I did that.
Yeah, you did.
I did that.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
guys, I think you got to go a little closer.
A little
just
closer.
So we don't
okay.
lose you.
Okay. I just don't want to.
But yeah, no, man, we're just talking about Sam a little bit and this whole thing and how this started. And yeah, you were saying about earlier, like something that contributes to the community, the comedy
Yeah,
community.
no, it's great. It was great that we did something that kind of brought people here. We have like 10 to 15 people showing up, and so it's just
And-
nice to
and
be
even
able
on
to,
those,
to contribute to the scene. As much as some guy named Noah Rubin would,
Yeah.
something like that.
I was just gonna say, man, even on those nights that you feel like you could have a better opportunity somewhere else, and you're really excited about your set here, and then it doesn't go well. I still feel like because it was something that Sam wanted, and we're keeping it going, and we get new people all the time. It feels like it's worth it,
It's nice to do it for Sam.
Yeah.
100%.
It keeps going. I remember, like when I met Sam, and then he actually helped me out with a little bit with another open mic that I was running that came and gone like they do. But he was helping me out with that, and then after that he started messaging me about this place, saying he wanted to get something started on the east side.
Yeah.
He
was all about that east side.
Yeah, he wanted something over here, and I know. I remember kind of the lead up and the build up to this, and him being around, and him even showing up to the Shanghai and doing his thing and trying to get his jokes out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
With this little notepad.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
Sam Gross, the host with the most.
Yeah, and I remember because his last name, because Gross is a Jewish last name, and he's like, no, it's not he's not Jewish. He just has the very Jewish last name.
Yeah.
No.
We actually met his mom.
Oh,
too.
you did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his mom flew over here, after everything happened. And she's just like him. She's like just like him. Like
From England. She's from England?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. She had like kind of similar teeth and like facial structure and like the energy. She was even kind of flirtatious, just like he is with girls. She was just kind of like that with guys.
Okay. Oh, good.
You can tell
was she flirty with you? Is that what she brought to the room?
I think a little bit.
All right.
But who knows?
All right.
She wasn't flirty with
Are
me.
you still single?
I've never been. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you're single or not single. I don't know much about you.
If my wife is watching this, I've never told anybody that I'm single.
I don't
listen
know.
to this guy.
I just wondered if he was like, okay, well,
No.
Sam's mom's available. I
You're
kinda
getting
wanna-
everyone. You've been on this. You've been on the show for like 2 minutes, and you're already getting him in trouble.
I
I don't know your wife. I don't know. Never. Did she ever come watch you? Did you ever?
Just like once or twice. She's not really.
She's not really into comedy.
Well, no, not well. She's getting into it. She's like watching more stuff. She watches. Like I watch anytime Robbie Schrader posts a video on YouTube. I watch it. And sometimes I get her to laugh.
So she likes she likes Robbie.
Well, she just not necessarily. She just sometimes if she's paying attention, she'll laugh at something. Like she tells me she hates Mark Norman. And then
Okay.
I'm watching a Mark Norman special, and she's laughing, and I'm like, I thought you hate him. She's like, I do, but that was funny.
Okay.
So,
She's warming up. She's finding her particular taste.
hey, Casey. Alive
Suburb.
and well.
The Judson.
Yes.
I'm doing okay. I'm on a microphone.
No,
That's a part of the. That's part of this.
this is the Casey Judson hour, and we were just waiting for him to show up.
Yeah, we're the Sunshine Band.
I got a
Play
question.
that funky music.
I got a question. What is a simp? Is it a pimp?
No,
With
like
that S?
simple.
Like a simp.
So this is
does
a-
it mean a simple person?
First of all, Nick Cody gave me the comedy simp nickname.
Okay.
A simp is somebody online who's like, will do anything for a girl and not get anything back. You know, like a simp is somebody who's like, you know, donating money to like a hot girl on Twitch, but not even getting any nudes back. You know, that kind of like a simp.
Just doing it with.
Or like defending a random girl online because they're invested in them. You know, like a para relation, whatever that is. You know, like
Is it like it's like hopeful? It's like the friend zone, but worse.
yes.
Okay.
Well, it's like kind of like
It's
you're
like the-
upset, like a little bit of an obsession, you know, over something, and like, you know, I love this whole thing. I feel like kind of you probably did when you were doing your podcast and stuff, because I remember listening to your podcast. You had a lot of excitement. There's a lot of excitement in your voice, you know. It's those first 2 years of comedy that like is very exciting, and then something happens after right in the year 3. What happens in the year 3, guys?
I'm in year 4 now.
Yeah.
Where year are you?
He's 4. right?
I'm on 3.
Okay.
I think actually it will be 3 years now. Like November was my first full year back. So I took a year off. So I had been doing it for 2, took a year off, and then this is my first year back.
Yeah.
And so I think it's different for me because I didn't know if I was going to be able to come back because of my health.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm back, it's very exciting for me, and I'm just super lucky to even be alive, let alone be doing comedy. So that whole excitement thing never left for me. So
I guess I get excited.
Just
sometimes.
almost die,
Yeah.
and you'll be right there. You'll be ready to go.
I get excited
Yeah.
sometimes.
Are you
but-
excited? Are you still excited for comedy?
My comedic spirit is not where I want it to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of was messaging you
Yeah.
a little bit just because I have like all these little one-liner jokes, and it's not that I want to get rid of them. I want to explore like how I really think and feel about the world in some way, and try to find something. But the challenge with that is that you have to fail a lot at that to figure it out. And I mean, obviously, I don't want to fail, but I know that's like such a big part of this, and that's kind of been my hesitation. But I feel like there's a draw to doing that, but it's hard because I'm like, okay, well then if I don't get any laughs, what happens? Do I go back to these they're not bad jokes, they're just jokes that are like these things that I've told over and over.
I wouldn't say that our comedy is similar, but like I do a lot of one-liners too, and I feel about it like you start out just learning how to write a joke and make people laugh, but then it sounds like you kind of want some more substance in what you're saying, and kind of, at least what I wanted to do for a long time is try and tell the world who I am, basically, rather than just like, hey, I'm just this guy who says stuff. I just noticed that every comic that starts to get to that next level, they kind of explain, you know, their story, who they are, where they come from, what their point of view is, and that's where their first, you know, big thing builds up to.
I know. There's like an anger in me that wants to be expressed a little bit, and I think I hold it back a lot because I'm so, you know, I want to be respectful and kind and all these things, and I'm like, how do I express the anger but also, you know,
not be mean,
or be, you know, I want it to be, I still want it to connect and figure out how, I mean, we idolize these people. I was just talking to somebody today about Chappelle's, you know, SNL monologue, just his oration, and then he just gets you at the end, and you're like, oh, and you feel it. You know, I mean, that's the dream.
Yeah.
Is to get to that point, you know.
Jordan? Is that the dream? Is that your dream?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it either, but Brian Fukuda was telling me about it. So,
I mean, a lot of what you said resonates with me as well. I think that it kind of can be viewed as a very common subject where the comedian does a lot of internal commentary, like stuff about your family, stuff about your relationships, stuff about yourself, because it's very easy and there's no risk because you're not saying how you feel about certain subjects in the world. So you spend probably 2 years getting it to a very perfected and very nice point, but then you plateau because then you kind of want to keep going and then you want to comment on the world, but your entire set is set up on something else. So I think that for me, I'm also kind of feeling the same way, but and as much as I don't want to fail, I'm kind of sprinkling it in. And I actually was talking to my buddy Jon Moskowitz about it. He goes, you could do your whole thing, your whole joke, and then you can just pepper a little bit of your opinion on the entire world in one line. And you could still let people know who you are. You could still let people know. And there's another thing. Sorry to cut that thought off, but there's just too much of me to go around.
Well, yeah.
But also the talking about anger and stuff. And I like the idea of being angry, sort of, just as a tool, not necessarily like I want to do that. But I did a show, and the lady took my tip jar, and she was like running around the audience, and like I couldn't do my set because she was doing it, and like I've had sets where I've been angry on stage. It doesn't work. And that was the first time that I expressed anger without being angry. I was in complete control of my emotions, but I still got to express anger in my voice, in my tone, in my body language, in what I said, but still being under control of my emotions made me feel safe and capable of regulating and saying the right thing that wasn't too mean, but still could have been a little mean. And I did have to apologize to the girl because she thought I was mad at her after the show. She was like, "Oh, you're mad at me." And I was like, "Honestly, I've been mad at people on stage. It doesn't work." I wasn't. I promise. Like, I was having a good time. I had a great time with you. I'm glad you came out to the show. I hope you come back next time. But I genuinely wasn't mad. I was having a good time. And it did get laughs. Like, what I was doing, it got laughs. Because I just yelled. I was like, I think I asked her friends, I was like, what's her name? They're like, Melanie. I was like, Melanie, you get over here. You get my And I just kind of did like something like that. And she's like, well, you don't have to yell. And I was like, yes, I fucking do, but you're not going to get over here. And it was like a fun thing for me. But it was something that I was expressing. It wasn't something that I was feeling. And I think that was like the trick, like, because like you, like I was like, I'm like, I don't want to get mad and say the wrong thing. Like, if I'm not in control of my emotions, how can I be in control of my mouth? Right. So I think that, expressing anger and being angry are two different things, and I think that you deserve to explore that.
Well, that is an aspect of what I'd like to do, just with whatever the topics are, just kind of figuring out like how to. Because whatever that's going on in the world, like maybe people all disagree with it, but maybe they can like connect to like what my experience of it is, and I can explain it. Cause that's what I've been thinking about for the past week. And I haven't done that many mics in the past week, so I've been trying to think about like how do I want to do it. And this is why I like this mic too, similar to Shanghai, is it feels like a place where you can throw stuff out there, and the risk is low, but but even though the reward might not be high, I think the reward is kind of in the process of comedy.
And if you know the host, you can kind of be cool, do an extra minute or so.
Oh yeah, okay, well,
not like club comedy where they're like
they cut you off and never. Oh, okay.
Never let you back.
We do not offer extra minutes at Sam's Open Mic. Thank you.
No.
Unless you're paying.
No.
Unless you're featuring.
Or want to get banned. I don't know.
Nobody's banned from here, FYI. No one officially is banned.
No one is officially banned. Come down, do your set, and if we don't like it, you'll get kicked out for the day. You can come back next week.
There you go.
That's what we say.
What was the first open mic that you started?
It was Water Wheel.
Water Wheel. The Water Wheel Lounge.
Yeah, the Water Wheel. It's the first open mic that I did, and it was before there was somebody else hosting. And then I kept actually trying to support that person and making it more, and then I went to 4 or 5 of them, and then at like the 5th one, the guy hosting just announced, he's like, this is the last one, or we're going to do it again. And then I was with a friend of mine who was there, and he said, Noah, this is your chance. You should take over hosting, see if you can do that. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. And then I just went up to the bartender, and he said, sure, why not? And I did it. I just, and then I bought ads in this stranger and texted people all over, and I was very surprised at how many people just showed up.
There was a lot of people at that mic. I only went there like 3 or 4 times. Did you ever go there? Yeah.
I went there. I featured there.
I mean, Jordan and I have a story too about how we met at an open mic in LA before I really knew him.
Oh, you never told me that. Yeah.
I didn't?
No.
I could have sworn we did. We talk so much. I can't help it. Yeah. Like it's our like intro story. Like it's like when you have that couple that talk about how adorable they are and their story is so adorable and they met. Like people get sick of it. I feel like that's us.
I remember seeing you in a video like doing comedy outdoors. I think in LA.
Yeah,
that was my mic.
That was it.
No,
I mean, there's
shout out Magic Mouse.
But it looked like it was in the middle of like a shopping mall.
Oh no, there was one that was on the Santa Monica Promenade, and then there was one that was outside because it's warm there.
Yeah.
Like there was one on the promenade, and I was doing the Dino Dad character at the time. I haven't done that in a while, but I also did it at his. Like that's where, and he kind of messed
Magic
with
Mouse.
And he and Jordan like messed with me or whatever, we played or whatever.
Yeah.
But then
it was a good back and forth. I had a lot of fun. Like that was really nice because I didn't feel like I could do that with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you seemed like very nice and like open. And like we kind of just joked around and it worked really good. I don't remember what we did back and forth, but I remember it working really well.
You moved the mic up and down, and I was in the Dino Dad character kind of. And I was like shouting at you, and then I was shouting at the audience, and then like it was during Passover, so I got the entire open mic audience to sing a Jewish song, and we all sang it together. So that was the night that I got, and then we stayed in touch.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I want you to host my open mic at the Shanghai." Or no.
It was a comedy show.
It was a show.
But it was very lowly produced because nobody showed up.
Yeah.
But you hosted it.
But yeah, I hosted it, and then I featured at the Water Wheel first.
Yeah.
And then I hosted the Shanghai, and the Water Wheel was fun.
Yeah.
They liked me there.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. Well, hey, it was cool. I mean, I couldn't even be there. It was all you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So we kept in touch.
All I know is Water Wheel had some good moments. You know, my friend Sam, who's a little person, drank too much and passed out.
I remember that.
He passed out on a stool, and I couldn't wake him up.
I remember
that. He started snoring in the middle of the mic, and it was like, I think Ryle Smith put up the mic to his mouth, and you could just hear.
Yeah.
I was like, Sam, get up, man, get up. And then like all of a sudden he just woke up like it was nothing. You know?
I recorded. I have that recorded somewhere in my cloud.
There's like a story
video
or something. Yeah. That was. And then I also remember Keon almost getting in a fight with somebody. That was pretty. That was a scary night.
That was an intense night.
There was some yelling and screaming that night.
Yeah, those were some interesting times.
Well, whatever happened, Keon was in the right.
Yes. We know who's.
Yeah.
He's still here.
Yeah.
You had I don't know what other mics you had. I know you did like Substation for a minute.
Okay, so yes, it was Water Wheel, and then there was one Pub 70 briefly, and then there was Wits End, which was kind of like
I've heard about Wits End, yeah.
Because what happened was I had this idea because I was in Denver, and I noticed in Denver has got a great open mic scene. Is that like on Sunday I was there, and there's a mic that started at 5 p.m. and then you're kind of in a cohort of people, and then they're just like, they tell you go to the next one, which is 10 minutes up the road. You go to that one, and there's another one that's 10 minutes up the road. So I was trying to
go to Denver.
I was trying to replicate that in Seattle. I was like, okay, maybe I can get all these bars and we can kind of just, you can comedy hop on Sunday. So I was trying to do that with the Wits End, and then have the Shanghai Room, and then there was Michael Aguilera at A1 afterwards.
A1, that was
so I thought
fun
everybody could kind of do that. And then the Substation was for like a month. I was just invested. I was saying yes to opportunities or whatever, and just trying to kind of organize and run. But now, the Shanghai kind of runs itself. So
the
to speak.
Shanghai it's a staple. I mean, so many people from like out of state are like, hey, I'm gonna feature at the Shanghai. Do you know where I can go after that? And I'm like, oh wow, okay, cool.
I think it's at a good time for folks, and it's nice for people who are just like comedians that are traveling with their families or whatever that just want to stop. I mean, that's a lot of the people touring that we get is just, I'm in town, I don't need to get paid. Does anybody know a mic that can let me get some time? And everybody's like, Shanghai. And I try to, make it happen with folks, which is fun.
So you said you want to try and start doing some new stuff with comedy. Do you have any new goals you want to do maybe for 2025? Anything you want to do?
For this year, I mean, there's just a lot going on in my head and in my world, and and I hold back a lot of like I don't always realize how much I hold back who I am. I feel like I'm a pretty genuine, authentic person, but I kind of want to bring a little more of that to stage without kind of like being afraid of people not liking it, because and it's hard to take, because you get feedback from somebody who likes your stuff, and then somebody gives you other feedback or whatever, and so when I get feedback now, I try to go to not just comedians, but I have some close friends who give me some very clear. What I was doing with some of my jokes is I was enjoying the groans, but my best friend, he was like, I don't understand why you do that. He's like, I don't like it. He's like, I think that there's more to you than just trying to get these groans. And I thought getting the groans was enjoyable, but maybe that's not what is needed. I don't know, but I'm trying to kind of explore more of a narrative and a story, but not just have like a lengthy story and have it go nowhere. But it's that if that makes sense of kind of what I want to do. I want to embrace something, and that's why I said not just like being. I don't want to be angry on stage. I just want people to connect with the anger I'm experiencing a little bit, and then if I can wrap it up in a funny way and deliver. That would be my goal for 2025. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that.
It's all ideas and trying to get it out. But I don't spend a lot of time writing, but I just want to. Sometimes I feel like I just don't want to write. I just want to get on stage and talk.
Hey Jeff.
Do that.
Yeah. So that's kind of
because, like, I mean, sometimes you just have to do that. Like, you could just do like you could just record yourself, and that would kind of be like your sense of writing.
Yeah.
Like just because you're not writing doesn't mean that you're not actively writing jokes. You know, like maybe the best way for you to do that is to not write and to go on stage and be vulnerable and be yourself and see what the camera picks up, and then you can kind of go from there.
Yeah, I've been doing that around my house, just recording myself talking, and as if I'm expressing it to an audience and seeing, and I listen back, and then I get a little cringy when I listen to it, but at the same time I'm thinking, okay, this is what I have to do.
It's kind of like when you start doing music, like listening to your own voice when you start singing, you're like, oh, that's awful, but like you get used to it, you get better, and then you start kind of honing it in. So I think you're on the right track.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
How about you, man? You got any goals this year? I know you said you want to do some more clubs, more touring.
I think I'm ready to start hitting the clubs. I'm ready to start like hanging out at clubs and stuff, because I kind of boycotted them for a long time because I just felt like I could get more practice hitting more like bar mics and stuff like
3-minute sets versus 5-minute sets.
So like I was more into the economical side of it, but now I think that I would like to start doing clubs. I might want to do like a competition. Like I want to start doing big competitions, and I got a podcast that I want to come out with. I have a sketch series that I want to do. I have a secondary kind of working on, like, it started out supposed to be a web series, but now it's kind of like getting good. It's kind of like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with comedians, and it's like they're on tour and stuff, and then like the subplot is one comedian's getting signed while the other comedian's very like artsy and very like, no, like this is like the true form of art, and they kind of have like that contrast, and it started off as like an alternative to the web series that I was doing, but now like kind of like that one a little bit better, so it's I don't know. I just want to write more. I also want to be more vulnerable. I want to be more honest. I want to make more commentary on the world outside of me instead of the world inside of me. I just want to. That's beautiful. I just want to be here for it.
Be creative.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just want to be here for it.
Be creative.
Yeah. So like I've been writing my 2 scripts a day, and then I've been also writing jokes. So like once you start, like it's kind of hard to stop.
Yeah.
So
unless you have kids, and then you gotta start.
Then it's hard to start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've been struggling to write stuff the last week. So.
Yeah, I just want to continue to be more successful, continue to make more money, continue to be happy,
you
be
make
content.
money at this?
Yeah, I filled out my W-2 for comedy.
Wow.
You made enough. You made enough
I made enough. Yeah.
Enough.
And so I sent in my mileage. I sent in all that stuff. That's the first time I made money doing comedy. So I'm very.
You are your own business.
Yeah.
That is what that means.
Yeah.
You are your own entity.
Yeah. So
Jordan Macias.
Yeah. I need to start posting more too. I need to be more like Stephen Michael James, dude. He's on top of it.
Yeah.
He is on top
I
of
mean,
it.
I tell everybody I'm really good at social media and not so good at comedy. So if you're good at comedy and bad at social media, we'll do a trade, all right? You help me get my jokes better. And, you know.
What are your goals for the year?
I would like to just perform for like just more shows, more people. You know, I'm starting to get to know some people down south that are really cool. There's some really cool people that put on shows. Nar and Van, you know him?
Yeah.
He puts on a lot of shows down there. He's got a pretty cool podcast. The guys at Tacoma Comedy Club. I don't know if Allison Fine's doing anything right now, but
She's doing something in Bellevue.
She's doing I'm on that. I'm on that March.
The Lucky Seven.
Yeah.
I heard they just had, or maybe it was their first show. It looked like it was a big success.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of it's an experiment. It's an unpaid show right now, and then if it gets successful, then you know, they'll bring out some more people.
Yeah, bring people.
She was doing this thing called the Open Mic Collective last year, so they were doing a lot of like, you know, pre-booked open mics at like pizza places, bars, and all that.
Yeah, she had me on a couple of those.
Yeah.
Shout out Allison Fine.
Yeah, Allison Fine. And I mean, I'll give her a shout out. I saw her at, I auditioned at the Funniest Mammal thing, and there were so many talented folks, but Allison, I don't know if I'm sure people talked about it, but she was just phenomenal there.
Yeah.
Just watching, I don't know, it was just a whole different thing. There was a bunch of people going up, and then she went up, and then just the room, the energy just went boom when she came up there. So I'm, you know, shout out to Allison for just.
Yeah, I just saw her last night actually. Yeah, we were at some Sherry Hardman put on this mic in Auburn. It was like a competition thing where whoever got like the best set of the night gets to feature next week. It's $50.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I didn't even make it to the top 5. Ryan Fukuda did, but not me.
Yeah.
But Robert Pinner was the guy who ended up winning that night. But
yeah.
See, Daryl was there. Courtney Brennan was there. Some good people. A bunch of people I've never seen before also. Names are names. But I don't know. Goals, I mean, look, I think just keep doing stuff, keep putting stuff out. It's keep this mic, you know, one thing I want to do is I don't want this mic to be dependent on me or him. You know, like I like what you did with Shanghai. It's not that I don't mind hosting, it's just I don't want it to be Steven's mic or Jordan's mic. I want like it to be like, this is the mic that it's always going on, like the 907. Or,
right,
you know,
right. And I mean, for me, I just feel fortunate. I found people willing to show up because
good people too that are reliable.
Good, reliable. That's the thing. It's reliable. And
Scott Coburn,
Marie
Marie Elizabeth.
Nick Cody, and Ryan Padilla helps out on Saturdays too.
Nice.
And it's been good having because Shanghai they don't pay. It's all volunteer work, and then and so and we kind of have lists of people we keep track of that are also reliable when we need people to fill in. And I mean, because I got to a point where it's like I just can't possibly. I mean, you're dead, you can't possibly do it all, but I still and as I kind of took a step back, I was like I was almost took a complete step back and didn't involve myself at all. But then I said, you know what, I can't give it up. I'm still here, and I want to be kind of there to oversee things as needed.
Noah's never gonna give it up.
I can't. I will not. I don't give it up.
Yeah.
I don't. Hey, ladies. If you're looking for an opportunity for absolutely nothing, I'm the guy for you.
Would you just like a nice, polite dinner?
It's a nice, polite dinner with a nice
handshake at the end.
Maybe.
Oh, if things are going good.
If things are going good, I'll give you the old high school handshake where we like scratch your finger in the middle, and you're like, that was weird. That's what I do. Shake your hand.
That's what I do.
Leave you not wanting more. That's awesome. That's my motto.
That's fucking awesome.
I have to tell you, man, being here in Seattle, I'm so happy that I get to be around different types of people. I knew like one Jewish person in Sacramento, and then I come up here.
That's all there is.
Yeah. And he was my boss.
We all know him.
He was my boss.
Old Seymour.
Bert sold his company for $40 million and moved down to Calabasas.
Oh, good old Bert.
Yeah.
We miss him.
Bert.
Good for Bert.
But yeah, man, we got you. We got J Marks. We got
let's name all
Simon Kaufman.
We can name old Allison Fine.
Yes, all the Jewish comedians. Well, what is it about Jewish comedians? I mean, like,
what is it about?
It's just there's a huge amount of Jewish people that are funny.
Because what else were we gonna do while we were, alone,
lifting bricks,
like somebody? That's what I joke. The first open mic started at a camp.
Do you think the comedy comes out of like pain?
It's all that. Like it's all that. For me, it was just like constant shouting in my house, which to me was just normal.
Yeah.
And then I'm out here I'm trying to like I have to like tame it down, but when I'm on the phone with my mom, we're just shouting at each other, and it's polite. But there's a lot of shouting, and then there's anger, and then there's frustration, and then there's like, but it's okay. I love you. You're my son. Just it's okay. Just get out there and do your comedy.
This is the kind of stuff you got to bring on stage.
This is who you are. I mean, and I call her. I call my mom to ask her about jokes all the time. She tells me what she thinks is funny, and then the conversations get weird sometimes because she has to tell me she has her own problems, and my dad's deceased, so she's trying to date. So she's like telling me like who she's dating. She's like, I'm gonna talk to you not as my son, as my friend, but like I was with this guy the other night, and I just wanted to play with him, and I'm like, no, I don't want to hear about it. He's like, it's okay, you're not my son right now. I'm talking to you as my friend. Anyhow, that's how the conversations go with her, and I try to help her out and listen to her not as her son, as her friend.
Yeah, that's funny. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, man,
mom's dating.
We're getting close to 9. I'm gonna, if you want, I'd love to have you back on, and we could talk about the origin of Noah and how you got into this whole comedy thing. I'd love to tell people the story, but
the story of Noah. It's all started in the Book of Genesis.
Yeah.
I was on a boat.
I did see a movie with Russell Crowe, but it wasn't very good.
Yeah. Well.
What? They did the Noah.
They did the Noah
with
Russell Crowe?
That should be.
And also, like, I talked to Rich Snyder, and I tried to ask him about all this Jewish stuff. He's like, I don't know. Talk to Noah Rubin. And I'm like, okay, Rich Snyder.
Oh, Rick. Talk to Noah.
Yeah. Dr. Rich.
That's funny.
Oh, Rich. He's like I think the community's gay Jewish dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What time you got?
I think it's almost
It's almost that time.
I'm gonna leave early and smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Hey.
Well,
nice seeing you, Jordan.
You can see Jordan every week here at Sam's Open Mic.
Follow him, Jordan More Chairs.
Jordan More Chairs. Good, I'm glad you remember that.
Because Macias. Moss.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
And man, you got anything fun coming up other than a feature here in a couple weeks?
I have the feature here, and
you still doing laughs? You still going?
I write them. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the process. I pass there, and I just write them, and then I wait, and then maybe I write them again. I think that's what you have to do. I don't know, but I write them. I'm hosting tomorrow at the Shanghai Room.
Who's featuring?
Danny Anderson.
Danny Anderson.
Danny Anderson is featuring, and I think Cruz is just doing a podcast there too sometimes, and I'm like, fine, more advertising.
I mean, I started that Seattle comedy podcast Instagram page, and so it's like I just wanted to find us. I mean, like, if there are people like me that are interested in the local stuff, I mean, put it all in one place. So.
People will search. If you build it, people will show up.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I had already had like another Facebook group, Seattle Comedy Podcast, so I was like, okay, well, let's just integrate them together.
So now I think maybe this year I'll start working on that and start promoting it more, and I think we got a good scene here. I feel like it's getting, I feel like when I started, I was really excited, and then it felt like it got real dark for a while with like all the controversy going on.
Well, that's the nature of it, and as you kind of, you're in a cohort, and you kind of get through it. It's and people talk about people from 10 years ago, that like Robbie Schrader and Casey Judson, and we're kind of building our cohort, and we'll kind of get our chips on our shoulder too, probably at some point, but but hopefully we can just move the scene forward in a way and carve our, because everybody has their own little niche with it, and we'll just see where it goes. I mean, I'm interested to kind of like see how I experience who I am in the next years. I mean, it'll be interesting when I'm like at year 10.
Well, man, you've been through a lot of changes in your personal life, so that has a lot to do with it. But hey, man, glad you're here. You're staying. You're out here. You're having fun. You're spreading joy for everyone, and that's what we do. I didn't mean to rhyme there.
It's like Santa Claus, but more Jewish.
I guess we'll wrap this up then, and then we'll talk again another time. But you're at Dino Dad Comedy.
It's still at Dino Dad Comedy.
And Instagram, and then
there's Seattle Grunge Comedy, which I tell people just to tag your stuff, and I'll share it if you're in the area.
It's the same thing with Sam's open mic page. If I see a cool reel, and if it's somebody that's been here, I'll just share it. I'm like,
I like sharing people's stuff, and Shanghai Room Comedy.
It's all about it. Shanghai, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Sign up in person if you guys want to feature. Just send Noah a message or
send
Scott or Marie or any of those
Better
guys.
to send them a message, but I will do my best to connect you. So
if you want to feature here, message me.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right.
I don't know how you end this. Do you do like a dab?
We'll do like this.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking.
All right, bye.
He's a force to be reckoned. Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist. Spitting fire.